In speaking with the Iowa Department of Transportation, county, city, and state engineers, as well as local leaders, and most of all Iowans, their voice has been resounding on this. Whether it's a farmer hauling grain or a local mayor trying to repave Main Street, Iowans need infrastructure that works, and they need a Washington that's a steady partner, not a roadblock. Construction costs, as have been noted by my colleagues on this, have soared. The last surface transportation bill and our investments need to reflect real-world price increases and the pressures those bring. How this money gets to the state matters just as much. Formula funding works. It's reliable, fast, gives local leaders certainty they need to plan ahead, and gets shovels in the ground. On the other hand, discretionary grant programs often feel like, to my hometown guys, a lottery, where some of them win and some of them lose, but they all do the same amount of hard work trying to get to that final point. Candidly speaking, that's not sustainable, and it doesn't help for long-term planning. So I'd like us to prioritize core formula programs that give states flexibility to move funds when they're needed most without all the red tape that builds up over years and years of doing this. Ask any local official in my district, and what's holding up the process is not the process itself, but the politics involved in the project. Environmental reviews drag on for years. Reports that no one reads pile up on bureaucrats' desks. Federal rules that sound good in theory, but ultimately just end up ending at more cost and less value. I'll give you a perfect example. Under current law, if a project has already gone through an environmental review and a new rule comes out in the middle of that process, those guys have to start the entire process over from day one. That's not efficient, it's not helpful, and effectively, it's government bureaucracy at its worst. We need to streamline project delivery, reduce duplicative processes, and make sure that the focus is on result, not building up things other than infrastructure, but things like paperwork piles. I know your committee is working hard on this, and we want to thank you for your leadership and action on it. So I'll get right to the point here. Our number one ask in Iowa, help us invest in hard infrastructure. Iowa's transportation is largely built on our agriculture and advanced manufacturing. Farmers and business leaders rely on road access to be completed. And it's not just our state, it's every state from coast to coast that transports down our corridor. From north to south, east and west, it all comes through Iowa. Which is why I'm pushing for 2 common sense updates to federal law that will help Iowa farmers and business people across our country. Most importantly, it will help families. The first is let Iowa permits for vehicles over 108,000 pounds on key segments of I-380. Other states already do this. Iowans know this as I-65, and when it comes to harvest season, we've already been doing it for quite some time. If state highways get added to the interstate system, which we are asking for, let the trucks already operating on them operate with the same limits. There's no point in changing it after it becomes a federal interstate. If they were operating safely before, I am confident they will not change their behavior overnight simply because it says interstate on the sign. This will also help increase access to some of our biggest economic developments in the region and help Des Moines grow as a hub for manufacturing in this space. This is support for from our Farm Bureau and a significant portion of our ag land operators near this area. Madam Chair, these aren't radical ideas. They're practical updates to keep an ag supply chain moving across our country.